Hi guys, hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, I had a slight technical issue when I tried to go live a second ago. Welcome to Clan Canine's first live post. If anyone's there, please say hello so I can see that you're there. So just while people get logged on, let me introduce myself to you. My name's Tammy and I'm the Clan Chiefess at Clan Canines, which is a premium dog walking service based in the west of Edinburgh, and we cover the west and the northwest of Edinburgh. The reason that I've chosen to do this live today is because I had a really good friend contact me last week. She lives in Newcastle and she was in a bit of a tizzy and she was like, I need to get a dog walker. I have absolutely no idea what to ask. I don't know what I'm looking for. Please help me. So we had about an hour's phone call. She's now a lot more comfortable and she's away to find herself one. And it got me to thinking that if you've never needed a dog walker before, you probably have absolutely no idea what to be looking for and what to ask. So I thought that I would do a wee Facebook Live and give you that information. So if anyone's thinking about it, then they know where to start. So please say hi if you're there. Hi Jennifer. Thanks for your wee thumbs up there. So the way I'm going to do this is break it down into two sections. So the first section I'm just going to talk about some documentation and things that I think you should ask to see and you should ask about. And then the second section will be questions to ask a dog walker at a meet and greet. So we'll go through all that. And just another thing to make you aware of, every local authority is different and Scottish laws are slightly different to English laws as well. So there'll be a few points where I'll talk about things that are relevant to Edinburgh because that's where I'm based. It might be that if you're in a different region, it'll be slightly different for you. But what I'll do is I'll let you know when we're talking about things like that so you can check out. Also, I might refer to some stuff as I go, and what I'll do is after the live's finished, I'll pop the link to what I'm talking about on the comment section. And guys, if you do have any questions as I'm going, please just type them up into the comment section and I will try to answer them as we go. Okay, so first things first, the very first thing that I think you should be asking to see a potential dog walker is their insurance documents. Now, insurance is really important, and some of the key things that I think you should particularly look for is how many dogs are they insured to walk at one time, because some insurance policies limit the amount of dogs that a dog walker can take. Now, every company is different. At Clan Canines, we're insured through Pet Plan Sanctuary, and we don't actually have a limit on the amount of dogs that we can walk. However, in saying that, we never walk more than 6 at once because that's what I'm comfortable with. But my insurance doesn't put a limit on it. But some companies do, so you can only walk 6 max, and it's really important to know what your dog walker's max is. The other thing to look for is, are they insured to have any staff walking dogs for them as well? So it might be that there's 3 or 4 people working for that company. It might just be that when they are on holiday or they're off sick, they get someone else to come in and walk the dogs for them. You want to know that that person's also going to be insured and that your dog will be covered while they're with that person, so ask about that. And the final thing is, if it's a dog walker that you would hope to board your dog at some point, you want to check that their insurance policy covers boarding as well. Don't be afraid to ask to see the documentation. Any good and responsible dog walker will happily show you their insurance documents and talk you through what their policy covers. Hi Karen, sorry, I've just seen you saying hello. So that's insurance. The next thing that's Edinburgh specific is you want to check if they're registered with the council. So professional dog walkers can opt into the council scheme, which is the agreeing to abide by their code of conduct. So basically, that if you register with the council, you're agreeing that you're going to be fully insured, that you are going to keep your dogs under control, that you're going to have a certain number of dogs and not exceed that. And if you want to check whether your dog walker's got it, just ask them, and they should have something like this. So I don't know if you can see this. This is something that I display in the van when I'm out, and also a dog walker would carry a little badge as well. So that's something that you can check to see that they are actually registered with the council. Now, this isn't something that is compulsory, it's something that's optional, but I think it's a really good test of how seriously your dog walker takes the responsibility, and I think it's just a really good judge of that. So that's obviously registering with the council. The other thing that would be relevant to the council is if they are a dog boarder. Now, this is really, really important. For me, this is one of the most crucial things. If you want your dog walker, to board your dog, they must have an animal boarding licence issued by Edinburgh City Council if they are based in Edinburgh. Now, this is quite, it's not an easy thing to get, so it does cost your dog walker quite a lot of money to apply for it, and to get it issued, they actually have to go through an inspection by the council. So they come to the premises, they inspect them, they make sure that they're suitable for purpose, they make sure that they're compliant with all legislation and that they understand the procedures and policies that they need to follow. And if they get through all that, they get issued with the boarding licence. So this is what mine looks like, so it's just to show you so you know what you're looking for, and that should be displayed on their premises where they actually do the boarding. So guys, what is so crucial about this is if they don't have a boarding licence, even if their insurance policy covers boarding, it'll be invalid without a licence, which means your dog would be there and the insurance wouldn't cover it. So please, if there's one thing you take away from this, if you're looking for someone who can board your dog, please make sure that they've got a valid boarding licence to do that. So I'm just looking at Rachel's comments here. I'm campaigning with my support of my local licensor. Canine First Aid, that's great. Do you know what? That's literally what I was just about to come on to, Rachel, so that's perfect. Rachel is an amazing Canine First Aid trainer. Unfortunately, I've not yet quite been able to go on a course of hers, but I'm planning to do that later this year if you're coming up to Edinburgh, Rachel. So Canine First Aid was the next thing. Now, this is something that, again, it's not compulsory. I believe it should be 100%. I think any professional dog walker should have Canine First Aid training. Now, something that's really important to check when you ask about it is if they do have a certificate, if they do have a qualification in it, was it done online or was it actually done at a course, a hands-on course? Now, obviously, any qualification could arguably be better than none. So if they've just done it online, it's potentially better than having no qualification at all. But what you're really looking for and what you really want is someone who's actually been to a course and physically done it. That means they've had practical hands-on experience at bandages, at resuscitation, at other sort of first aid techniques, and they've had someone who is trained, who's watching them, advising them and helping them when they're doing that. So really, really what you want is someone who's been to an actual course. Now, most, and Rachel might be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think most canine first aid qualifications are similar to human qualifications in that they're valid for 3 years. So you want to check the date on the certificate. But I mean, if you're anything like me, in all honesty, if I had done a qualification 2 years and 10 months ago and I'd never hopefully had to ever use it, and then something happened, I wouldn't be able to remember. I know I wouldn't. So what I do at Clan Canines is I refresh annually my canine first aid, and I've done it both times with different tutors to get a little bit more of a broader spectrum of knowledge on it. So I did it with Fitzcharles first. I did it with Fourth Training, which is a great local company, last year, and they're actually trained paramedics as well as having extensive dog experience, so they were great. But Rachel Bean really is the lady, so I'm desperate to go on yours this time, Rachel, when I refresh. 2 years is guideline, yeah. So I think, like, I know the certificates I had were valid for 3 years, but for me, really, personally, I'd be wanting to do it annually just because I feel like it would keep it fresh in my mind. But absolutely, that's something that you really want. You really want a dog walker who is trained in canine first aid. So yeah, so we've done that. The next thing that I think is really important when you're actually looking for a dog walker is you're looking for someone that you can trust, because you're not just giving them, you know, your dog to look after, you know, part of your family. You're also, more often than not, you're giving them the keys to your property as well. So I would say 85% of my clients, they have a dog walker because unfortunately they're out at work during the day, they don't have enough time to get back and walk the dog at lunchtime, so that's why they want a dog walker. That's not the circumstances that everybody sort of falls into needing a dog walker, but I think it's generally the main thing is that's why people get one. So that you're really going to have to give them a key to your property. So there's two things I would say that I would check as part of this if you're looking for a dog walker. First of all, again, we're talking about Scotland here. Do they have a disclosure? Have they had a basic disclosure done? So this is basically what it looks like, and it's a check to see if you've got any live criminal convictions. So, you know, it's not a foolproof. Yes, they're going to be a really responsible, reliable person. But I think if the pet professional has went to the effort of getting that done, they're trying to display to you that, you know, that they are responsible. The one thing I would say is check the date on it, because obviously it's just the date it was issued. That it's up to that point. Potentially something might have happened after that. So you want to look at how recent that's been done. And the other thing as well, I guess, when it comes to trust, which I would say is probably the biggest thing, is you want to be going on and having a look at reviews and testimonials from their existing clients. That's a really, really good way of seeing what people that have actually used their service have to say. So you could have a look on their Facebook page, you could have a look on their website, and also if you search them on Google, sometimes people have Google reviews as well. I know a lot of my clients have done that for me. So you really want to go on and have a look and see what their clients have to say about them. And I think that's probably the best guide for you in terms of trustworthiness. And then from then, it's a case of meeting them at the meet and greet and seeing how you feel about it. Sorry, I'm still trying to read the comments. Rachel, yes, I hopefully will see you then, definitely. So yeah, so the last thing that I guess I would say that you might want to be looking for and asking to see is any qualifications that they have. Now, I think it's really important to sort of stress here that there's a big difference between dog walkers, dog trainers and dog behaviouralists. And the training levels that I would expect each of them to have would be different. So if you are looking for someone who's just a walker, yes, there is qualifications they can do, and it would be fantastic if they have them. But I wouldn't necessarily expect a dog walker to have as many qualifications as I would expect a trainer or a behaviouralist. I would 100% expect a trainer or behaviouralist to have really good practical, again, not online qualifications that they've done in the real life environment. And be asking to see them and asking loads of questions about them. I know some really good behaviouralists, one in Edinburgh particularly, who is fantastic, and if anyone's looking for one, please contact me privately and I'm happy to pass her details on. But I know that they see a lot of problems that come from someone who's not a qualified trainer trying to train a dog and actually causing more damage in the long run than not. And the sad fact is that anybody can create a Facebook page and say, I'm a dog trainer. You know, it's terrifying, and I'm sure that a lot more regulations will come in, and I really hope that they do soon. But at the moment, you do have to be careful. So really ask what their qualifications are, you know, really grill them on it, ask to see them, ask them where they've done it, and find out a lot about it. Really, especially if you're looking for a trainer or a behaviouralist. Paula's just saying reviews are massive. Yeah, completely agree with that. So guys, just to recap what we've covered so far, the things that you want to ask to physically see: insurance documentation. Are they insured? How many dogs for? Are the staff covered? Is boarding covered? Are they registered with the council and agree to abide by their code of conduct? Do they have an animal boarding licence if they're going to be boarding for you? Are they Canine First Aid trained? Do they have a basic disclosure? Have you checked their reviews on Facebook and online? And do they have any qualifications? Now, what I would advise is what generally happens is you find a dog walker, you might find them online, or, you know, you look at their website and there'll be maybe emails going back and forward or a quick phone call. And that's when I would say to them, look, you know, can we have a meet and greet, and can you bring all this documentation with you so I can see it? Ask to see it. Again, a responsible pet professional will be happy. You know, I absolutely love it when I go to see a potential client and they're asking to see all my documents, because to me that means that they are taking it very seriously, and that's a great thing. And for me, that's, you know, that I'm really on board with that client if they're asking to see that. So a good dog walker is going to be really happy that they're asking to see this stuff. So you get to the meet and greet, and so I guess now it's about what kind of questions you should be asking. If I can give you any advice, write all your questions down beforehand. So many times I go to a meet and greet and then I always get messages afterwards saying, oh, I forgot to ask you this and I forgot to ask you that. So get all your questions written down so that, you know, if you forget or you go off on a tangent, you've got them there and you can go back to them. I think one of the key things that I would be asking, especially if you've covered all this other stuff already, is how are they going to transport your dog? Now, there's no necessary right or wrong answer to this. I think a lot of what comes at the meet and greet has to fit with what sits right for you. I know a lot of different dog walkers who transport dogs in different methods, and they're safe and they're secure. What I can do now is talk to you about how I transport my dogs, and I feel that that's a safe way to do it. So that might give you some ideas of what to look for. Also, if after the live you go onto my website, which is www.clancanines.co.uk, I've actually got a little video tour of my van, so you can see that as well. But some of the questions I would be asking in regard to transportation of dogs is your van or your vehicle, is it caged? And are those cages actually bolted in so that they're really secure? If, God forbid, you have an accident, you want the dogs to be as safe and secure as possible. The other question I'd be asking is, do the dogs get put in the cages separately, or do more than one dog get put in the same cage? The reason I say this is, again, I've heard feedback from behaviouralists and trainers in the past saying that, you know, they see a lot of issues that come from dog walkers who've maybe put 2 or 3 dogs into the same cage, and they suffer a lot of stress and anxiety, and they're really uncomfortable, and it can cause issues in the future. So you want to know, you know, is each dog being put in its own cage so it has its own safe and secure place? And that's something we do. I have 6 cages in my van, and all the dogs get put in separate cages. With one exception, I have 2 adorable Labradors, Jack and Coco, that live together. They're from the same house, and every time I go and pick them up, I'll open 2 cages. So I'm like, look guys, have a cage each, and literally every single time they jump in together because they want to be together. So they go in a cage together. That's the only time I ever put dogs in the same cage, and I think that's something that's really important to check. And also, I think I'd be asking them about what their hot weather plan is. So, as you know, at the moment it's been glorious sunshine, which has been lovely, but the vans can overheat. You know, transportation methods can get really hot, and we all know that dogs, you know, can't be left for a long time in a hot vehicle. It can get really bad really quickly. So you want to know what that dog walker's policy is in terms of combating that. Now, again, I can only talk about things that I do. There's not necessarily any right or wrong way of doing it, but some of the things that I think are a really good idea. So I have in my van, it's like a half bulkhead. Now, for those of you who are not van literate, because I wasn't before I got a van, that's basically the partition that goes behind the driver and separates the front of the van from the back of the van. So what I have is, in my van, it only goes to about there from the ground up, and then the back section is completely open, which means I can open the front windows and get a lot of fresh air, as well as a lot of light actually, to the back of the van, to the dogs. What I also have is a Fleckner vent on the roof. So again, for people that don't speak van, that's like the little whirly vent that's on the top of the van, and that helps force air into the back of the van. The other thing that we do is we have cooling mats that go inside each cage. Guys, I cannot recommend these highly enough, even for your house or in your back garden in this weather. It's great. I call it like my magic mat. So they have some, I don't understand the technology, but they're filled with some sort of gel that's safe. You know, if the dog manages to chew through it, it's not going to make the dog ill. But when the dogs lie on it, it reduces their temperature to 7 degrees, up to 7 degrees below the ambient temperature. So that's a really great way of keeping them cool. So that's another thing I'd be looking for when I was talking to the dog walker, like, you know, what do you use? How do you make sure the dogs are going to be okay? Another thing that we do that you could ask if they do is we have a porta shower in the van. So in the winter we can like actually hose the dogs down when they get covered in mud. But at this time of year in the morning I fill it with really, really cold water. And I can get quite a fine spray off it. So just at the end of the walk when the dogs are really hot, obviously make sure they have a drink before they go in the van, but I always give them a wee spray down with the cold water on the fine mist of that as well. And then they go into the van on the cooling mats, and that just helps them cool them down a little bit. So that's things that you want to be looking for. And I know other dog walkers have other techniques that are really good as well, but the main thing you want to be finding out is that they actually have a policy, that they have a procedure on hot weather. So another question that you might want to ask them is how many dogs they walk at once. So we've obviously covered the insurance part of that earlier on, but you know, you need to be comfortable that you're happy with the amount of dogs that they're walking at once. Sorry, Jennifer's just asking about what are the mats. Right, what I'll do is once this live's finished, I'll post a wee link to the Amazon one for the ones that I've got. There's a lot of different brands, but I can put the link on, you can have a wee look at them. But they're absolutely amazing. Highly recommend them, Jennifer. They're really, really good. Paula wants a mat for herself right now. I know it's so hot, but enjoy it. I've heard that it's actually going to start raining tomorrow, which I'm hoping isn't true. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. How many dogs at once? Yeah, find out how many dogs that they walk at once. Do they have a policy in terms of the max that they'll do? For us, it's 6. We won't walk more than 6 dogs at once. Really important to know, because again, it has to fit with what you're happy with. You might want your dog to be socialised. You might want your dog to go out in big groups, or you might just want a solo walker. So it's really important that you find a walker that fits with what you actually want. And also ask them about their on-lead, off-lead policy, so whether they let the dogs off-lead. And even if you're happy for them to let them off-lead, I would expect that they would want to walk the dog on lead for quite a while first until they build up that bond and that relationship with them before they let them off. But it's really important to find that out. Generally, a good dog walker will ask you to fill in like a registration form with some terms and conditions and give consent to walking off lead and stuff like that. So, you know, I would be prepared that probably they're going to bring some documents to the meet and greet for you to look at and sign and go through. And the other question, oh, sorry, I've dropped my camera. Technical malfunction. Hang on a little minute there. God, never worked with dogs, animals or live technology. Hopefully that's okay. So the last question I was going to mention was ask them where they take the dogs walking. Do they go to the local park? Do they go around the block? Or do they go like to the woods, to the beach, up the hills? Again, if you've got a really old dog, you might not want them going on a big mad 1 hour adventure. You might just want a half-hour walk around the block. If you have a younger dog, a sociable dog, maybe exactly what you're looking for is more like kind of adventure walks like we do at Clan Canines. So ask them where they go. It's really important that what they do fits with what you want. So I think that was the majority of things that I was wanting to cover. Does anyone have any other questions or anything that they'd like to ask me just now before we finish up? I'm just having a wee look through the comments to see. I've probably missed some. Let me have a wee look. But yeah, guys, if you've got any questions, please just type them up now, or afterwards. I'll be happy to answer them afterwards as well. I think this looks okay. Brilliant. No questions. That's really good. So guys, anyway, I hope that you've got something from this. I hope it's been a little bit informative and maybe answered a few questions that you would have. If it has been, please hit the likes, please hit the loves. It means more people will see it. If you do have friends that you think would benefit from this, please share this post with them, get them to like the page, come on and have a look at it. And the plan is that next week, same time, same place, I'm going to do another live chat. And that's how, next week what we're going to talk about is my favourite dog-friendly places in Edinburgh. So cafes, bars and shops that are really dog friendly. So if you have any recommendations of places that you'd like me to talk about next week, please do message me and let me know. Just going to have a look at some questions here. So Claire, would you recommend that owners ask for a trial walk before committing to any potential dog walker? Yeah, that's definitely something you can do. Now, every company has their own policy. What I do at Clan Canines is after the meet and greet, we always do a play date where the dog comes to my house and we do like a bonding session. Then we do a solo walk, and it's only if both of those go well and both sides are happy that we would then look at doing group walks. And it's still on a trial period because you know, not every dog's the right fit, but yeah, 100% I would expect a trial walk of some sort, and I think any good dog walker, sorry, I'm losing the ability to speak, any good dog walker would be happy to do that. So yeah, that's a really good thing to ask for. Can we see the setup for your boarding facilities while you are here? So I only board 1 or 2 dogs at once. I have a boarding license, but what I do is I only board my existing clients. The only reason I got it was because it was an additional service that I wanted to offer. So I don't have any specific boarding facilities per se. I don't have kennels, I don't have anything like that. The dogs stay in the house. All the dogs that I walk know me and know my home quite well, so they're very comfortable and relaxed there. That's why I only board existing clients, so that I know that they're going to have an enjoyable experience. So as a sort of boarding facilities as such, there's not really a lot to look at, but you know, if you were an existing client and wanted to come and have a look, most of my clients have been to my home anyway, but absolutely that wouldn't be an issue to come and have a look at the property and the premises before boarding would start. And I think 100% that would be absolutely fine and be expected to ask to do that. So if you've got someone that you would like to use as a boarder, then yeah, I think definitely you can ask them to go and see the premises. They're not going to have a problem with that at all. Jennifer, where would you look to find out if your local council has a registered list of dog walkers? That's a really good question. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the comments to the Code of Conduct for Edinburgh City Council. I think that, to be honest, I've never tried to find a list of the registered ones in Edinburgh, but I think if you just contacted the council and asked them, that they would be able to provide you with that list. And also, if you had a wee look on their website, sorry, I keep dropping my camera. I am so not good with this. Hang on 1 second. But yeah, so I'll put the link to the Code of Conduct, and if you have a wee look on their website there, it might have a list. But yeah, if not, just contact the council directly and they should be able to give you a list of the dog walkers, I would presume, unless there was any data protection issues with that, but I don't think that there would be. But you can just ask a dog walker, are you registered with the council, and show me those the little badge that I showed you before. They should have that if they are registered. Carol, great job. Thank you, Carol. Kirsty, I was a dog walker for 9 years. Ask them how long transport and time is. Yes, that's a really good point. A lot of dog walkers use that to shorten actual walk times. Yeah, really good point, Kirsty. Check with the dog walker when you do the meet and greet how long the actual walk is. Now, for me, the walk is the mini clan adventures, the mini clan crusades are an hour long. The transport time is separate to that. Just double check with your potential dog walker that is the same case, and that, you know, it's not an hour, but the travel time is taken out of that, because you want to make sure that you're getting the full length of walk. That's a really good point, Kirsty. Yep, Paul has just asked the same thing. How long is the walk? Exactly the same. Yeah. Is your home inspected by the council for boarding? Yeah, Karen, I don't know if you missed that, but yes, to get a boarding licence, the council come out to your property and they inspect it. So I had someone come out, check my property, check my garden, make sure it was all safe and secure and compliant, and then until they've done that, they won't issue you with a licence for boarding. Certainly that's the case at Edinburgh. I couldn't swear that other councils are the same, but that's definitely the case in Edinburgh. Thank you, Claire. Guys, any other questions, please hit up. Even if the live's over, I can answer them afterwards. And yeah, I really hope you've got something from it. I've been quite nervous because it is my first live, so thank you for bearing with me. And as I say, I'll be here the same time, same place next week, and we'll be talking about great places to go with your dog in Edinburgh. So until then, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.